President Trump's latest statement is fiery and you'll want to hear it. This weekend, President Donald Trump issued a new statement aimed at former Attorney General Bill Barr, and it was brutal. The release was in response to a profanity-laced interview by the former Attorney General, who claims now that he has completely separated himself from the former president, mostly over Barr's opinion on voter fraud in the 2020 election. Donald Trump clearly did not appreciate Barr's tell-all interview. Now, he's calling Barr a disappointment in every sense of the word. RINO former Attorney General Bill Barr failed to investigate election fraud and really let down the American people, Trump wrote in a statement issued to reporters. It's people in authority like Bill Barr that allow the crazed radical left to succeed, he wrote. He and other RINOs in the Republican Party are being used in order to try to convince people that the election was legitimate when so many incredible facts have now come out to show conclusively that it wasn't. The president concluded that Bill Barr's weakness helped facilitate the cover-up of the crime of the century, the rigged 2020 presidential election. Barr has yet to respond. Tucker Carlson's latest accusation is driving liberals absolutely nuts. Tucker Carlson has been driving liberals absolutely crazy lately, first, by existing in the first place, then, by raising the question of FBI involvement in the January 6th riot. And now, he's lighting up the internet by claiming the NSA has been monitoring his private communications. As recent die-hard supporters of the intelligence community, liberals hate this accusation of wrongdoing. But Tucker is not backing down. He's bringing the facts. Check out his latest monologue with all the details.
But it's not just political protesters the government is spying on. Yesterday, we heard from a whistleblower within the U.S. government who reached out to warn us that the NSA, the National Security Agency, is monitoring our electronic communications and is planning to leak them in an attempt to take this show off the air. Now, that's a shocking claim, and ordinarily we'd be skeptical of it. It's illegal for the NSA to spy on American citizens. It's a crime. It's not a third world country. Things like that should not happen in America. But unfortunately, they do happen, and in this case, they did happen. The whistleblower, who is in a position to know, repeated back to us information about a story that we are working on that could have only come directly from my texts and emails. There's no other possible source for that information, period. The NSA captured that information without our knowledge and did it for political reasons. The Biden administration is spying on us. We have confirmed that. This morning we filed a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information Act request, asking for all information that the NSA and other agencies have gathered about this show. We did it mostly as a formality. We've also contacted the press office at both NSA and the FBI. We don't expect to hear much back. That's the way that usually goes. Only Congress can force transparency on the intelligence agencies, and they should do that immediately. Spying on opposition journalists is incompatible with democracy. If they are doing it to us, and again, they are definitely doing it to us, they are almost certainly doing it to others. This is scary, and we need to stop it right away. Farmland is vital. You need it to eat, but you'll never guess who owns most of the farmland in the United States. It tells you a lot, and we'll tell you who it is straight ahead.
Democrat-turned-Republican Vernon Davis lights up Twitter with a rant against racist fake news. On Thursday, Republican candidate for governor in Georgia Vernon Davis posted a video to Twitter explaining his gripes about election fraud, the federal lawsuit against Georgia, and the biased fake news. He absolutely demolishes liberal arguments that election integrity is equal to Jim Crow laws and rips CNN for racist commentary. It's a must-see. Watch now.
Step in for a second. I want you to ask the Attorney General Garland. I want you to ask him, why is it that he wants to come to Georgia and investigate Georgia's so-called Jim Crow laws, but he won't investigate or even ask for a forensic audit in the 159 counties in Georgia? He won't even look at Stacey's law, how it was used in our elections versus state law. Now that's a fact, and that's an undisputed violation of the Constitution. I'll ask you, was the drop-off boxes used in 2020 elections? Was it? Was it used in the 2020 elections? Now, be as bold as you were bold to ask Rudy Giuliani a question. I'm asking you now. Were the drop-off boxes used? Let's put the camera on him. Let's put the camera on him. I'm saying, now, were the drop-off boxes used? Now bring the camera around. What press are you with? He's with CNN. Were the drop-off boxes that were used in our election. This gentleman's with CNN. He's with CNN. What's your name?
Sayers.
This is Mr. Sayers. Were the drop-off boxes used in the 2020 election and the 2021 runoff? Were those drop-off boxes written into state statute?
I do not know, sir.
Are you open to looking to see if it were?
Sir, I just asked questions.
No, I'm just asking you a question. So was it used? No, you've asked me questions already. Was it? Are you going to look into it?
May I ask you?
I just want to see, here's CNN. Because CNN is about controlling Negroes. That's what it's saying. Controlling Negroes. That's what CNN is about. They don't want people of color to have conservative thoughts. He's here to keep me running and keep me from being the governor of the state. Why? Because the liberals, they do not want blacks thinking for themselves. They're here for Stacey Abrams. You know and I know that the drop-off boxes were not in the state statute. You know and I know that the ENET signature verification was not in the statute, right? We both know that. Now I want you to look in that camera. Are you going to investigate that?
Sir, there are many people in our organization.
I want you to look in this camera right here. Are you going to investigate that?
Don't get fired.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, sir.
See, this is the fake news from CNN. All they want to do is control their liberal narrative. And that's it. That's a prime example of it.